Did you ever go through something that was so hard that you said, oh my God, it broke my spirit? It didn't break your spirit because your spirit can't be broken. What it did was break the vessel. And that is what this new moon energy is about, breaking free from something that contains you. Swati is about setting yourself apart from the group. The constellation itself, the stars are very far from the ecliptic. So this is about breaking free from the pack. And the point of doing that is because when you are one of many, you don't stand out. So this is the star of individuation. This is the star of you separating yourself from a situation, from a scenario, from a set of beliefs, but setting yourself apart so that you can walk your path in the way that you need to. And you need the freedom of being individuated from the group to be something different. And you need to be able to set yourself apart from the group, go against the grain, be unique, be seen, because your path and your contribution is different than anybody else's. So if somebody's going to hear your voice, if somebody's going to understand what it is that you have to say, you have to speak clearly, and you can't be one of many. You have to be the one. The deity attached to Swati is Vayu, and Vayu is the wind. And wind is associated with prana, and prana is, of course, the life force. So the life force being associated with spirit. Think about when you meditate and you come into an altered state, and that is when the veil is very thin and you blend with spirit. This can be in your meditations. This yin energy can be, some people use marijuana or other substances, but it's that kind of a space that you create where you're blending with spirit so that actually spirit is moving through you. And again, this is the purpose of Swati, is you have work to do in the world, so it's not just that you're meditating to meditate. You meditate to get in touch with yourself. You meditate to get in touch with the cosmic knowledge that is within you in order to have it flow through you. And that's really what Swati is about, is the energy, the spirit moving through you. You are the vessel. So what will happen is you use your own experiences. You use the fountain of your own experiences. Swati creates these playful spaces where we can learn. It's associated with things like video games, virtual reality, science fiction, also dreaming, astral projection. So being in these spaces where we are able to, or we're fully immersed in some other reality, and we have to know the difference. So we have to know, we have to be individuated from that alternate reality. And while it's interesting to talk about in a really hypothetical sense like this, in kind of an esoteric sense, the truth, the actual reality of it is that in our waking lives, we are also immersed in this illusion. We are immersed in belief systems. We are immersed in relationships. We are immersed in situations that they themselves are illusion. And Swati teaches through loss. So while it creates this nice, playful place for you to grow and learn, the ultimate lesson is that it is not you, the person, who is making anything happen. The reason anything happens is because you align with spirit and spirit flows through you, and then it happens. But the key is your alignment with spirit, thus the prana, thus the creation of the space. Some people think it is not a good idea at all to immerse themselves in the material world or to be part of the material world, but that's the only way that you learn. If you are never around people who lie to you, you don't understand what lying is, thus you don't really understand what truth is. If you are in situations where your resolve is not tested, how do you know you have any resolve? If you are in situations where your values are tested, how do you know what your values are? So Swati is about you being an individual and stepping away from group values to recognize your own value. The new moon is a very watery affair. It is going to be very, very emotional. The chart dominants are Pluto, Neptune, and Mars. So you have Neptune, the planet of dreams, entertainment, illusion, the dissolving of barriers, so you're not actually sure what's what. Then you have Mars, the planet of action, the planet of the soldier, the planet of initiation. And you have Pluto, think Hades, the underworld, going through hell, the planet of transformation, the planet of difficulty, the planet of secrets, the planet of things that aren't seen. So you have illusion being cast. Then you have the reality of you've seen the illusion, what are you going to do with it now? And then you have the transformation, the change that occurs, because we never, after we go through hell, we don't emerge the same person. So you have this transformation. So at this point, you have an element of control, but Pluto also takes control away from you. We're coming up on eclipse season, so this is an opportunity for you to still be in control, because when the eclipses come in, things come out, and you have no element of control. It just happens. So preceding eclipses, the universe gives you a lot of opportunity to handle things on your own. Otherwise, the universe will just take care of it for you and align you on your path. Something that works a lot like an eclipse is Uranus, which we have here. You have of the sun and moon, and then you have an opposition with Uranus. What's going to happen is moon is in Swati, sun is in Swati. So it means it's a dark moon, it's very internal. And then you have Uranus, which is in the nakshatra of Bharani. Swati is about loss, Bharani is about loss. The nakshatras teach lessons through loss. Swati is associated with prana, and then Bharani is associated with Yama, the god of death. In breathwork, it's called pranayama. So pranayama. Each time we take a breath, it's a new life. Each time we exhale, it's a new death. So this is the constancy, right, of the spirit flowing through us. All right, now what to pay attention to in this chart is you're in some simulation, you are in some setting, and we'll go through with each sign what is going to happen, but you're in some setting. And in order to step away from the setting, you will be confronted with something. So what will happen? There's a situation you're enmeshed in. There's a situation where maybe you're not running your own program. You're involved in something else. Or there's a set of values you're immersed in, but there's something you're immersed in. And it's opposed to Uranus. So an opposition. And when an opposition occurs, you'll be confronted with something, some information, or the loss of something, and that is going to help you individuate from wherever the new moon is taking place for you. The role of secrets is powerful. Swati is associated with royalty, monarchs, people who marry into royalty. Also, a dominant planet of this new moon chart is Pluto, and Pluto rules plurocracy. What that is a small concentration of power among a group of people, like royals. So watch in the next 2 weeks how secrets about royals may come out, or secrets about power may come out. Now, let's look for a minute about the role of secrets and power in your own life. What's one of the best ways to have power over somebody? Have a secret about them. And the only way that they will not be under your control is when that secret gets exposed. So why don't we more readily expose secrets? Think about all of the things you have to lose. Not like it's a good situation usually if you are immersed in secrets, but there's some reason why you don't call something what it is. There are consequences to calling things what they are. There are tangible losses to calling things what they are. There are losses of relationships, of families, of group associations, if you call things what they are. But lies are part of the illusion, part of the deception. Lies themselves can build a structure, and we get stuck in these structures, government structures, community structures, family structures. The histories that have occurred, the things that have taken place, the things nobody wants to revisit, and they get buried, and then we live with that energy. And everybody living with that energy moves a little differently, communicates a little differently. There's an undercurrent when there are secrets, and it's unmistakable. The only way to be set free from those secrets is to expose them. But doing so often comes at a loss. And so that's more what this energy is talking about. With the combination of Swati and Uranus and Bharani, two nakshatras that are about loss. But the benefit of it, even if it comes at a loss, you are still set free. Because by exposing a lie, by seeing something that exposes the delusion, then you can be set free from it. Then you can break out of that simulation. Then nobody is casting their illusions on you. You're not under somebody else's spell. You, being set apart from this, can speak your truth. You can be what you are supposed to be, but you will never be that if you live in a system of secrets. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The new moon energy is taking place in your third house. Third house has to do with your community. It has to do with your neighborhood, short distance travel, your siblings. So, in things like your communication or your community or your siblings, what structures are present that are somehow limiting your ability to be who you need to be? What things are small things are sort of in your way that you can't communicate exactly the way you need to? What relationships with your families, like your siblings, or with your community is holding you back from speaking just the way you want to? Something will happen from your ninth house, and ninth house has to do with expansion of the mind. So higher education, religion, spirituality. Something is going to be shown to you through the ninth house that's going to make you come to realize. It's going to shed light on what's going on in this internal process and make you realize what has been holding you down, what has been holding you back, or where has your thinking been limited. It can be that you're in a situation where other people are there are secrets and other people are sort of holding you down. Or it can be that you come to understand through some higher ninth house mind expansion, through travel, again, through some higher education, if you are at a religious service, or something like that, where suddenly you may come to realize your role in holding somebody down. You may come to realize your role in creating a structure that doesn't allow people to individuate, that doesn't allow people to be who they are. If that's the case, whatever happens, the learning was necessary. So there's not really any need to be mad at yourself. If you see it, then you see it, then you're finished with the lesson. Be finished with the lesson, but you got the lesson. If, on the other hand, it's the structure being imposed on you, it begins to perhaps beg the question, why are you still part of that structure? Is there a reason you still play that game? Is there a reason you still participate in that simulation that doesn't allow you to be who you are, that doesn't allow you to say what you need to? And that comes in different forms, because it's not that people tell you not to say something or not to be a certain way. But when you are trying to hold on to your relationship with the community, with a sibling group, with things around you, and you understand that if you don't acquiesce to the group, you understand you'll be cast out entirely. There's something in conflict resolution that's called in-group, out-group. So it's talking about in-group,
There's only so much variation that a group can take to maintain its cohesion. So if you act in excess of what the group can take, you're now out group. You're out. They can't take it. So not all groups have a tolerance for people being individual. And you might be in that situation. And so that might be the loss that you're facing. And that might be the reality that you're looking at. And it's a hard thing to look at because it's an easy thing to say. But the actual stepping away from something like that, the actual liberation from something like that, that's harder. It's much harder done than it is said. But the Bharani energy, something will be exposed to you where you will understand the need for it. And you'll understand why you were there. And you'll also understand the growth while you were there. And you'll understand that the place you're going next will be because you have taken the steps to be exactly where you're supposed to be, including stepping away from that which holds you back.
If you call me